is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. This is your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio. Presented by Valdecast Windows and Doors, Level 10 Coatings, and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com with your host, Roger Piper.
Your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio.
Hi, welcome to Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. This show is all about your home. Everything to do with your home. Today, we're going to talk about selling your home. And our guest is Jeff Neidiger with Jeff Buys Your House. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Roger, thanks again for having me. Looking forward to it.
And Jeff is, you've probably seen his TV commercials, things like that. He's very active and he's been doing this for a long time. In fact, 18 years he has been buying homes and then selling them. And if you're looking at selling your home, there's two options. One, you go the traditional realtor route. And we all know what that includes. That includes, finding a realtor, doing all the stuff, et cetera, putting it on the market. And Jeff offers an alternative for that, and that is that he'll buy your house for cash as is. So 18 years of home buying, and you sold like 30 homes in the month of May, or bought 30 homes?
Yeah,
that's
bought 30, sold about 30. Yeah, we were buying quite a few, and yeah, it's going to be a big summer for us. So we're thankful to have all the opportunities in front of us. A lot of people want to sell. Still a lot of people moving and moving up, moving down, moving out, all that type of stuff. Yep.
All right. So let's talk about the process a little bit. If somebody comes to if you're looking at selling your home, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't at least check this out. Because, like I said, there's two routes to go. You go with a realtor or you go with Jeff Buys Your House. And one of the advantages is that you're buying the house as is. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, it's a true as-is sale. So when a potential home seller calls us and wants to know more about the process, typically they are measuring us against your traditional real estate option, as you mentioned. But a lot of times, let's just be honest here, they're overwhelmed and inundated with the repairs and even the clean out and the clean up. And so we come in and assess it kind of as you see it. And most people want to take what they want. They don't want to do the repairs. It could be anything. It could be a cleanup. It could be a bathroom. It just becomes too much once you start thinking about, okay, what's it going to take to sell? And so we like to give them a reasonable offer where they truly leave it as is. They don't really have to do anything at all besides take the stuff that they want, because the rest of the stuff we're either going to donate or trash out, and that's just because it's been a lot of it's been laying around for years and years. You know how it goes.
Yeah, and this is really a less stressful way of selling your house, isn't it, Jeff?
It is. It is very. Actually, we just had a guy just stop in a few minutes ago. He just stopped in on a whim, saw the sign on the front of the building here, and we're buying his house Thursday, but he was not scheduled to come in. And I asked him, we had a conversation. He said, we've been in the house 48 years in Aurora. It's over on the west side of Aurora. And he said, you know what? It just came down to too much for my wife and I to handle once we started thinking about selling. It became very overwhelming for her. And I said, what part of it? He said, it wasn't because the house needed a ton of repairs. It's lived in, of course, but they just have so much stuff. Everywhere they turned, they thought, no one's going to want that. No one's going to like that. It doesn't look like it's 2025. It looks like it's 1995. And they got concerned, and that's kind of why they decided to go our route and go the hands-off, hassle-free route.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And the process is really kind of easy, isn't it? Somebody calls you, you meet with them, and then you set up an offer, right?
Yeah, no obligation. It's when we say free, it really is. It's just a free meeting. It's a conversation. And honestly, our home buying specialists are going to come out there and they're going to educate the seller. We're not every appointment turns into a house that we buy, but at least we can look back and say we left them better than we found them. We educated them on the option. And this really is a service because it's not just a transaction. We're actually going to walk through the entire transition with them. A lot of people, they don't know what's next. They're overwhelmed, not just on the sale, they're overwhelmed on what they do after the sale and all those things that come with that.
Yep, and you pay all the closing costs too, right?
Yes, closing costs are included. The only thing that the seller typically is on the hook for on their end is any type of association fees if they live in an HOA, or any type of taxes that you'd normally be on the hook for. And if they decide to close with an attorney, that would be on them. But your typical closing costs, which can be, a couple $1,000s at least on your average house, we handle all that. Yep.
One of the advantages of this, Jeff, is you can be very flexible on the timeline too, right?
Yeah, here we are in May, and we've got closings all the way out in early September already, which, again, we've talked about that. That starts to get a little bit further out there for us, but we will take a few of those. But, again, another advantage is that you are in control of that date where you're not typically, you put your sign in the yard, you go the traditional real estate route. You're going to kind of settle on a closing date that works for your buyer as well. Well, in this case, as long as we have a conversation about when you want to close, and typically it's because you're buying something else or you're transitioning to another place, and there's a time frame involved. And so we like to accommodate, and that's just one of the benefits of working with us. We're very flexible, and because we're not moving into it with our family, we understand that it's a big choice and a big decision, and let's work together on finding a time frame that works for both of us.
Yeah, this is Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. Our special guest today is Jeff Neidinger with Jeff Buys Your House. You can check him out, and I highly recommend you do, at jeffbuysyourhouse.com, or you can call him at 630-895-9530. Now, for somebody that I know this is a great option for somebody that had a house just plop on them. They inherited it, something like that. And they really don't want to go through the hassle of maybe turning it into a rental, or maybe doing the upkeep, or maybe doing the repairs. So you help out a lot of people when it comes to that, don't you, Jeff?
Yeah, and I think one of the other things that sometimes people don't think about when they're thinking about why someone would choose this route versus like you mentioned, the traditional real estate route is sometimes it's just the overwhelming part is honestly because some people are embarrassed of the condition, and there's all levels of condition, right?
Yep.
I mean, some are really, really bad. Some are just lived in. Our team, because of what we've been doing for 18 years and our core values, just being full of integrity and humility, we're gonna be very discreet in our approach, and we're not there to make people feel weird or odd or point things out that are terrible, because they're bringing us into their home. They're asking us to make an offer that works for both of us. And so that's what we're going to do. And like I said, every time, it doesn't work every time, and that's fine. But people shouldn't be ashamed to sell their home. We work with all types of scenarios, all types of price ranges all over Chicagoland. So we've kind of seen most situations by now.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point, because I don't think I've ever seen a real estate transaction where it's like, okay, maybe we should update the kitchen, or maybe we should do this or that. There's always things to do. And then the other part of that, too, if you need that home to sell and buying another one, you're dealing with contingencies. And, if this is a cash offer, then you're now a cash buyer, right, when it comes to the other home as well. I think that's an important point. It's all cash.
Right.
It's all cash. And
there's no qualifying or no appraisal for us. There's no financing contingency for us. We're not our transaction or this scenario we're putting together that goes to closing. We're not waiting on someone to approve us so we can purchase it. So you can avoid the 11th hour. Everyone's afraid of the 11th hour. Fallout or pullback from a potential buyer. It is a business for us. It is a service for us. But we don't take it lightly that people are selling their house, whether it be something they lived in, like this gentleman here, for 48 years, or something they bought 4 or 5 years ago, and we do all of that. So we take it serious. It's a serious business. It's a serious transaction.
Yep. And you know what? I really highly recommend, if you're looking at this route or looking on whether you want to give Jeff a call, look at the reviews. Okay, there's over 375 Google reviews, and I've looked through them, and it's just amazing the things that people say. Like everything, this is a person from Joliet. Everything from beginning to end was perfect. They made the process easy and stress-free. The offer was what I was expecting to clear if I had used a realtor. That's one thing to think about. You're not paying commissions to a realtor.
Right.
No surprises, just really helpful staff. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff you'll see. But in those reviews, you're going to see a bunch of different scenarios where somebody just inherited a house or somebody's looking to make a move and they don't want to do the updating. I mean, every single scenario. And I think that I just can't encourage anybody enough to go do that, because those are real people saying real things. Also, when it comes to that timeline, if you're looking to move, especially out of state, that can be really, really good, because that always seems to be the problem. That closing time, that can be a real issue with a lot of people, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it comes up. It comes up all the time now. You've got folks that are, well, let's face it, when we're moving out of state, they're retiring and they're looking for maybe a cheaper cost of living, and so typically they're moving south, which is fine, but they are lining up their sale with their purchase, and that's very, very important to them. And because you can't necessarily tell your buyer, traditionally speaking, hey, I want to close this date no matter what. Well, if that doesn't work for your buyer because they're a family moving into the house, then that's going to be an issue. So for us, we go into it. It's one of the first questions we ask. What's the time frame that's most important to you, or what is most important to you about this scenario? A lot of times they'll say the timing. I need to close July 15th. I need to close September 9th, and here's why. And so we really do try and accommodate that. As long as we know, it's typically a scenario we can work within.
That's great. Jeff Buys Your House and jeffbuysyourhouse.com. Check it out. Give him a call, 630-895-9530. Jeff, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Roger.
It's Home Answers on AM 560, The Answer.
Your go-to for all things